From the Bleach Factory, where Sammy Sosa has all of his work done, this is Kurt Berglund with a Pine Tar Baseball 1990s Great Team Set preview. Available now at ttlbaseballgame.com. ttlbaseballgame.com. And I'll link it below this video for you as well. The 1990s Great Team Set, the first one that Pine Tar has produced, is now available for you and contains the following teams. There are 10 of them. We will be doing a second one in the months to come. Here are the teams in this set. The 1992 Oakland Athletics, the 1992 Atlanta Braves, the 1992 Pittsburgh Pirates, the 1993 Detroit Tigers, the 1994 Montreal Expos, the 1994 New York Yankees, the 1995 Cleveland Indians, the 1993 Chicago White Sox, the 1998 Chicago Cubs, and the 1999 New York Mets. Those are the 10 teams available right now in the 1990s set available for Pine Tar Baseball at ttlbaseballgame.com. Today, I'll be doing a preview for you. Yesterday, we did a game from two teams in this set as well. The 1992 Athletics at the 1993 Tigers. I won't spoil the outcome for you. The game is available on my channel as well. Today, we do a National League preview. It's the 1992 Braves at the 1998 Chicago Cubs. The 1992 Braves, as you probably remember, were the National League East champions. They went on and defeated the... Wrong. The 1992 Braves were the National League West champions. They went on and defeated the Pirates in the NLCS, and then went on to lose in 6 games in the World Series to the Toronto Blue Jays. The 1998 Chicago Cubs got into the playoffs by winning a 1-game playoff against the San Francisco Giants at Wrigley Field, and then went on to face the Atlanta Braves in the National League Division Series and were swept in that series. However, the 1998 Cubs are noteworthy for their performances, not only for being the first Cub team since '89 to make the playoffs, but they were also noteworthy for Sammy Sosa's home run chase, with Mark McGwire topping Roger Maris's, at that time, single-season home run mark, and for the explosion onto the scene of right-handed starting pitcher Kerry Wood. The 1992 Braves were winners of 98 games. The 1992 Braves were winners of 98 games, and as I said, they won the National League West. Greg Maddux had not joined them yet, but they had an excellent starting rotation, including Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, Charlie Leibrandt, and Steve Avery as the big four at that time for that club. The Braves hit 138 homers as a team, and they still played their games. No, I believe this was their first year at Turner Field. And as a team, they hit 254. They scored 682 runs. John Smoltz, who will be pitching today for the 92 Braves, had a record of 15-12 with a 2.85 earned run average. He made 35 starts and pitched 246 innings. John Smoltz was in the prime, or beginning the prime of his career in 1992. The 1998 Chicago Cubs were not just the Sammy Show, but they hit 264 as a team. They scored 831 runs. They hit 212 homers. And again, 66 of those were due to Sammy Sosa's work. And Sammy chipped in with 158 RBIs that season as well. He scored 134 runs and hit 308. His card is remarkable. Kerry Wood led a, shall we say, mediocre 1998 Cubs pitching staff. He was 13-6 for his one-loss record. He had an earned run average of 3.40. He did have some injury trouble, but he pitched 166 and 2/3 innings. As I said, I believe I said, pitched a 20 strikeout performance against the Houston Astros that really put him and, in a way, that team on the map. Today's starting pitchers will be Kerry Wood for the Cubs, will be playing in Wrigley Field, and John Smoltz will be the pitcher for the 92 Braves. The batting orders will be as follows. Leading off in center field for the visiting Atlanta Braves will be Otis Nixon. Batting second at shortstop will be Jeff Blauser. Batting third at third base, Terry Pendleton, also the National League MVP in 1992. Batting fourth in right field, David Justice. Batting fifth in left field, Ronnie Gant. Batting sixth at first base, Sid Bream. Batting seventh and doing the catching, Greg Olson. Batting eighth at second base, Mark Lemke. And batting ninth, and as I said, doing the pitching, John Smoltz. As you can see, he's an A+ pitcher on the road the first 2 times through the order, and then he drops to an A with the 3rd time through the order for Pine Tar Baseball. For the homestanding Chicago Cubs, leading off in center field, Lance Johnson. Batting second at second base, Mickey Morandini. Batting third in right field, Sammy Sosa. There he is. This is pre-bleach job. Batting fourth at first base, Mark Grace. Batting fifth at left field, Henry Rodriguez. Batting sixth at third base, Gary Gaetti. Batting seventh at shortstop, and as you can see, several other positions, Jose Hernandez. Batting eighth and doing the catching, Scott Service. And batting ninth and pitching is Kerry Wood in his rookie season. He's at home, as you can see, an A pitcher with an M on the row, or with an M the 3rd time through the order. We're going to have some strikeouts today, I think, between these two moundsmen. All right, let's get this game rolling. These are teams that you can get in the 1990s set for Pine Tar Baseball, TTLBaseballGame.com. Let's roll. Otis Nixon is standing in against Kerry Wood. And the first hit of the game is looped into right field, but Sammy Sosa is going to get there and make the catch for out number 1. And Otis Nixon is the first out of the ball game. Jeff Blauser, the shortstop for the Braves, stands in now against Wood. And he lines a base hit to left field, where Henry Rodriguez will pick it up and throw it back in. Blauser's aboard with the first hit of the game. There's 1 out and 1 on. Terry Pendleton, who hit .311 and slugged .473 for the Braves in 92, is up. And he hits a ground ball to Gaetti, who's going to go to Morandini for 1, and the return to Grace is not in time. Pendleton is aboard. Blauser is forced at second. Pendleton is aboard on the fielder's choice. 2 outs. David Justice standing in against Kerry Wood. And Justice hits a ground ball to Mark Grace, who gloves it, and he's going to take it himself for the 3rd out of the 1st inning. The Braves are retired in the 1st. They score none. leave one, and after a half an inning, we are scoreless at Wrigley Field. The Cubs are coming to the plate. Lance Johnson will step in against John Smoltz. The pitch to the one dog, as Hawk Harrelson called him, is an error chance. Fielding check. And this is a ground ball to Blauser. And Jeff fumbles it. We have an error, and Lance Johnson is on base, the first base runner of the ball game for the Cubs. Mickey Morandini will stand in. Left-handed batting Morandini with Johnson on first. There's nobody out. Smoltz with from the belt and to the pitch. And Morandini hits one to center field. Otis Nixon, playing shallow, doesn't have to move very much and makes the catch for out number one. Sammy Sosa now, with Johnson still on first, stands in. Cub fans abuzz with excitement. And Sammy lines a base hit to left field. Lance Johnson is around second, and he is going to take third base as Gant's throw comes in to second base. The Cubs have runners at the corners with one man out. It's Sosa at first, Johnson at third, and Mark Grace standing at the plate to face Smoltz in a little bit of a jam here in the bottom of the first. The pitch to Mark. And Grace hits a solid single up the middle. That's a base hit. That'll score Lance Johnson with the first run of the ball game, and Sammy Sosa stops at second base. So there's still men on first and second, still two on for the Cubs. The Cubs have one in. They lead this game 1-0, and there is one man out for Henry Rodriguez. And Henry strikes out. Smoltz gets him on a breaking pitch. There are two outs, and Gary Gaetti, with 2 outs and 2 on, Gary Gaetti stands in against Smoltz. And Gary hits a ground ball to Templeton, who's going to take it himself to third base and retire the side in doing so. But the Cubs come up with a run in the first inning, an unearned run, and lead this game 1-0. As we go to the second, it'll be Gant, Bream, and Olson for the Braves against Kerry Wood. And Ron Gant lines one down the line. It's past Gaetti, and it's going to rattle around in the corner before Henry Rodriguez collects it. Gant will easily make second, and the Braves have a man in scoring position with nobody out. Sid Bream, the left-handed hitting first baseman and the Pirates' favorite base runner of all time, stands in and lifts one to center field. Lance Johnson is going to take it. Gant looks like he's tagging, but he will hold. And with one out, Gant still at second base for Greg Olson. And Greg Olson strikes out, and that's Kerry Wood's first strikeout of the day. And Lemke comes to the plate. Mark Lemke, the Braves' second baseman, the author of a .227 batting average in 1992 with a crisp .307 on-base percentage. They could walk Lemke and go to Smoltz, but they're not gonna. They're gonna face Lemke and see what happens. And we have a rare play. And this rare play, Wood whirls on the daylight play. He tries to throw to pick off Gant at second base, and he throws it into center field. It's an error on Wood, and that will send Gant to third before Lance Johnson can get the baseball back in the infield. So now the Braves have a man on third with 2 outs, and Lemke still at the plate. The pitch to Mark. The pitch to Mark is strike 3. Wood with his second K of the ball game gets himself out of the mini jam, and we go to the bottom of the second, and the Cubs are leading 1-0. A little bit of a rough start for both teams. Both teams have an error. And Smoltz is going to face Jose Hernandez, Scott Servais, and Kerry Wood in the bottom of the second. And Smoltz strikes out Jose Hernandez, which wasn't much of an accomplishment back in the day. And Scott Servais will stand in. Smoltz's second strikeout on the day. We have an error check, fielding check for the Braves. Hit to Bream, who's going to glove it, and he's going to flip to Smoltz, and that will be 2 down. And Kerry Wood will stand in. 2 outs, nobody on for Wood. And Kerry hits a ground ball to third. That's Pendleton. And he will throw to Bream, and that will retire the Cubs 1-2-3 in the second. We go to the third inning, and it's 1-0 Cubs, as John Smoltz will stand in for the first time against Kerry Wood. The pitch to John is a strikeout. That's Wood's third of the game and his third in a row. And we go to the top of the order for Otis Nixon. Pitch to Otis is a ground ball to short. That's taken by Jose Hernandez, who's got plenty of arm, and he throws it to Grace for the out. That's 2 down. And Jeff Blauser stands in against Kerry Wood. And Jeff slams this one into the left field corner. Rodriguez got to go get it, and he will. And with 2 outs, Blauser's on second with a double, and Terry Pendleton is a hit from tying this ball game. 2 outs, Blauser's on second, Pendleton in the left-handed batter's box, Wood to the belt, and the pitch is a fly ball to left. Henry Rodriguez right in his tracks, and Wood again is going to strand a runner in scoring position after 2.5. Cubs still lead 1-0 as Smoltz comes back out for inning number 3. Lance Johnson and the Cubs' top of the order is up. It'll be Johnson, Morandini, and Sammy Sosa this inning for the Cubs. Line drive, base hit, Lance Johnson. He's on for the second time. Let's see how the Cubs want to play this with Morandini at the plate. Mickey hit .296 in 1998. He had an on-base percentage of .380. They're going to let him swing. And it's a ground ball slammed at Pendleton. Terry's going to go to Lemke for 1, and then that's all they're going to get. Morandini beats the return throw to first. So with 1 out, Morandini is on first base, and Sammy Sosa steps in. Sammy hits a ground ball, second base, Lemke. He gloves it, flips to Blauser for 1, back to Bream for 2, and Sammy Sosa's hit into an inning-ending double play. And we go to the 4th inning. Cubs 1, Braves nothing. For Atlanta in the 4th inning, it'll be Justice, Gant, and Bream facing Kerry Wood, the author of 3 strikeouts so far in this one. Justice hits it high and deep, right field toward the line, fair or foul. It is gone, and Elvis has left the building. Justice has tied the game. It's 1-1 in Chicago. Gant stepping in, nobody out. Tie game. Fly ball center field. Lance Johnson back a few steps, and he's going to take it for out number 1 in the 4th. Sid Bream stands in. And Sid strikes out against Wood. That's strikeout number 4 for Kerry. And Greg Olson with 2 outs and nobody on. And Greg Olson hits a ground ball to shortstop. That's Jose Hernandez. Comes in a step, takes it, and fires. And that will retire the Braves in the 4th. But on the strength of the Dave Justice leadoff homer, the Braves have tied this one at 1 apiece in the 4th inning. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's Mark Grace, Mark Grace, Henry Rodriguez, and Gary Gaetti facing John Smoltz for the 98 Cubs. And this one's hit to center. Otis Nixon on the run towards the gap, and he's going to make the catch. Plenty of range for Otis, and that's 1 down. Henry Rodriguez standing in. And Henry hits a ground ball to shortstop. Blauser's got this one and fires to first for 2 down. And with 2 down and nobody on, it's Gary Gaetti, the Cubs' third baseman. In-season acquisition. Fly ball to right field. It's hit well, but Justice has room, and he will make the catch, and that retires the Cubs 1-2-3 in the 4th. After 4, we are tied at 1 at Wrigley Field. The 92 Braves in the 5th will send Mark Lemke, John Smoltz, and Otis Nixon to the plate. The pitch to Mark Lemke is lined, a base hit. Mark Lemke right up the middle, right back through the box, and Mark Lemke's aboard with a single. John Smoltz comes to the plate. He is a good bunter. He squares. He bunts. He gets it down, and Gaetti will field it and throw to Mickey Morandini for the sacrifice as Lemke moves up to second base with 1 out. Otis Nixon on the top of the order standing in. Otis is 0 for 2 today. Kerry Wood is now going through the 3rd time through the order. He drops in grade to an M. Let's see how he negotiates that one. Otis Nixon strikes out, and that's Wood's 5th on the day. 2 outs in the 5th, and Jeff Blauser with a chance to break the tie. 2 outs, Blauser up, and Lemke on second. And Jeff Blauser lines a base hit. This one goes to left field. Henry Rodriguez gloves it. He's charging. He gloves it. He does not have a good arm. Lemke is getting waved around third. Chance to score, and he does. The Braves lead 2-1. And Blauser is on first. Blauser is having a 3-for-3 ball game so far. Terry Pendleton stands in with 2 outs and Blauser on first. The pitch to Terry is skied to right field. High but not deep. Sammy Sosa will take it and retire the Braves when it comes down, and he does. So it's 2-1 Braves after 4.5. The Cubs need to get going. Smoltz has not allowed much since the 1st inning. Cubs have Hernandez, Service, and Wood coming up in the 5th. The pitch to Jose is a fly ball to left, and that's Gant. Back a few steps, and will make the catch. That's 1 down. Scott Service, Cubs catcher, who's not in the lineup for his bat, but he just slugged a base hit that's going to get to the gap. Left center field is going to split Nixon and Gant, and Scott Service has himself an unlikely double. And Kerry Wood will stand in. Kerry Wood, not a bad hitter, and Smoltz has to be careful here. 1 out, Service on second, And Kerry Wood at the plate. Kerry Wood lines a base hit. Base hit up the middle. Service is slow and will be held at third. Men at the corners for the Cubs. Men at the corners for the Cubs. First and third. Service at third. Wood at first. So we do not have a couple of speed merchants on the bases. There's one man out. Johnson is a decent bunter. They could put a play on to try and get the game tied. And that's what they're going to do. They're putting a play on. Johnson squares to bunt. The suicide squeeze is on. And he doesn't get it down. The Braves... Oh, excuse me, he does get it down, but the Braves are going to make the play on it. Bream will field it and flip to Olson, who will make the tag and retire the sliding Scott Service. So the squeeze was on. Johnson got the bunt down, but too hard, and Bream was able to glove it and fire home to Olson to cut down the runner, and the Braves maintain their one-run lead. There's 2 outs now. Johnson is safe at first. Wood is now at second base, and there's 2 outs for Mickey Morandini, who wants to come through or at least keep the inning going for Sammy Sosa, who's standing in the on-deck circle. Smoltz in a jam. The pitch. Hayes strikes out Morandini on the slider, and that will retire the Cubs in the 5th. Cubs come up with nothing. They have a good chance, but they come up with nothing. And after 5, it's the 92 Braves 2, the 98 Cubs 1, and David Justice will lead off for the Braves, in the 6th inning. And it'll be Justice, Gant, and Bream facing Kerry Wood. Justice swings and hits a ground ball to Morandini, who's going to flip to Grace for out number 1 in the 6th. Ron Gant will now come to the plate. And Gant hits a ground ball to third. That's gloved by Gaetti. He will fire to Grace, and that's 2 down. And Sid Bream with 2 outs and nobody on. Fans against Wood. That's Bream's 2nd strikeout of the day. It's Wood's 6th strikeout of the ball game. And we're going to go to the bottom of the 6th with the Braves clinging to a 2-1 lead here at Wrigley Field. For the Cubs in the 6th, it'll be Sosa, Grace, and Henry Rodriguez, the meat of the Cubs order. Sammy is 1 for 2. He hit into a rally-killing double play in the 3rd. Pitch to Sammy is a high fly ball, right field. Justice back to the wall, and he's got it. And that will retire Sosa for the first out of the 6th inning. Had a chance on that one, but didn't get it. Grace stands in 1 for 2 today with an RBI. And Mark draws a walk off Smoltz. Mark's aboard. 1 out, 1 on for Henry Rodriguez. Smoltz to the belt, checks Grace. The pitch home is a fastball in the outside corner. Grace stood there, Rodriguez looked at it for a called 3rd strike. And with 2 outs and Grace on first, it's now Gary Gaetti. Gaetti skies a fly ball to right field. This is going to be David Justice, and he will make the catch for out number 3. We have played 6 at Wrigley. It is the Braves 2 and the Cubs 1. Bottom third of the Braves order coming up in the 7th. Greg Olson, Mark Lemke, and John Smoltz. Kerry Wood still in there. Pitch to Olson. Fly ball to right field. Henry Rodriguez in his tracks. 1 down. Mark Lemke, 1 for 2 today with a run scored. Stands in against Wood. He hits a ground ball to Morandini. He's going to throw to Grace, and that'll be 2 down. And John Smoltz stands in against Wood. And Smoltz strikes out. That's Wood's 7th on the day. And that retires the Braves in the 7th. We go to the bottom of the 7th with the score. Braves 2, Cubs 1. Bottom third of the Cubs order is up. Jose Hernandez leads off. It's Hernandez, Service, and Wood in the bottom of the 7th against Smoltz. Pitch to Jose is ball 4, and he is on to lead off the 7th. Service is 1 for 2 with a double. And Kerry Wood is in the on-deck circle. How do they want to play this one? If they bunt with Service, that pretty much forces them to pinch hit for Wood. And that's what they're going to do. Service is going to square around. Smoltz's pitch is homeward bound. The pitch to Service. He gets it down. He gets the bunt down. Bream gloves it and flips to Lemke, and that moves Hernandez up to second base. Wood is in the on-deck circle, and manager Jim Riggleman is calling him back. We're going to have a pinch hitter. Kerry Wood's day will be done. Kerry Wood, for the 98 Cubs against the 92 Braves today, pitched 7 complete innings. He allowed 6 hits. He walked no one. He struck out 7 and allowed 2 runs, both earned, and one of them was a home run. So, looking at the Cubs pinch hitters that are available today for Jim Riggleman, and Brant Brown, outfielder, first baseman, left-handed hitter, is going to get the call to pinch hit for Kerry Wood. Brant Brown, Cub fans will remember, made a devastating error late in the season against the Milwaukee Brewers. It led to a Brewers win and looked like it was going to be very, very damaging to the Cubs' playoff chances at Old County Stadium. But the Cubs were able to recover and make the playoffs anyway. Brown played a lot of center field in 1998 because Lance Johnson was injured a fair amount of the season. He stands in now as a pinch hitter for Kerry Wood. Jose Hernandez is on second base. There's one man out. Smoltz in a little bit of a jam here. And he is an A because we are through the 3rd time through the order. The pitch to John, he strikes out Brown on a breaking pitch, and that's 2 down. Lance Johnson with a chance to atone for a failed suicide squeeze attempt before in the 5th inning. Johnson's 1 for 3 with a run scored today. He has scored the Cubs' only run, and he wants to drive in Jose Hernandez from second base. And this is a ground ball to Blauser on a hop. Blauser takes it and throws to Bream, and that will retire the Cubs in the 7th. Cubs get a man. They bunt him to second, and he dies there. We go to the 8th. It's the 92 Braves 2 and the 98 Cubs 1. Braves have Nixon, Blauser, and Pendleton coming to the plate. Let's see who they're going to go with here. The Cubs need a relief pitcher. And there's a lot of arsonists in that bullpen ready to throw gas on the fire. However, wow. Cubs are going to go with Terry Adams, who is rated an M because of some control issues. He's rated an M at home. But he also, as you can see from his card, possesses a good strikeout pitch. He appeared in 63 games for the Northsiders in 1998. Adams will bat ninth. Terry Mulholland is throwing in the bullpen, the lefty that the Cubs used in a lot of different ways, and Lord knows they needed him in 1998. Otis Nixon, Jeff Blauser, Terry Pendleton for the Braves in the 8th. Adams hoping to hold them where they're at. The pitch to Otis is a fly ball to center. That's Lance Johnson, who will make the out for the first out of the inning. And we're one down in the top of the 8th. Jeff Blauser, 3 for 3 with a double and an RBI so far in this one. Ground ball second. Morandini, who's had plenty of action today, throws to Grace. And that's 2 down. Terry Pendleton with 2 outs and nobody on. In the left-handed batter's box, Terry draws a walk. And that'll bring up Dave Justice with 2 outs. Justice is 1 for 3 with a solo homer back in the 4th. Adams. Wow. Adams could get pulled here, and he's going to. It's going to be Mulholland. They're going to go to Mulholland to try and get out of the 8th. So Pendleton's on first. Pendleton is on first with 2 outs. David Justice, left-handed batter, is coming up. Terry Adams is being relieved by Terry Mulholland. And Adams went 2/3 of an inning, walked a batter, no hits, no runs yet, but Pendleton is his responsibility on first base. Mulholland is a left-handed pitcher. 64 relief appearances in 1998, 6 starts, and he is on to face Justice. And Justice sends one in the air to center field. Lance Johnson is back a few steps, but he'll make the play, and that retires the Braves in the 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Cubs need a run to tie, and it is 2-1 Braves. John Smoltz is still on the mound for the Braves. Braves do have action in the bullpen, and that's going to be Kent Merker and Alejandro Pena warming up down the left field line for Atlanta. Oh, I'm sorry. No, in 1998, that'd be the right field line. They're down the right field line for Atlanta. And Smoltz is back on the mound. He has allowed 1 run in 7 innings of work. It'll be Mickey Morandini, Sammy Sosa, and Mark Grace in the bottom of the 8th. And Morandini slams a ground ball to Lemke, who moves to his left and will throw to Bream for out number 1. Sammy Sosa now coming to the plate with 1 out and nobody on in the 8th. Sammy is the potential tying run. And that one is hit That one is hit to left field for a base hit in front of Ron Gant. Could have been gone against a lesser pitcher, but not today. Sammy is now 2 for 4. He's on first base. Smoltz may be tiring. Gray stands in against him. Merker and Pena are throwing quickly in the bullpen. Pitch to Mark. He swings and misses, strike 3. He gets Grace and Henry Rodriguez coming to the plate. He's more of a home run threat than Grace was, and so that's going to be it. Here comes Bobby Cox. They're going to get Kent Merker on to face Rodriguez. On the road, Merker's an A-plus pitcher in 1992. He's got some control issues, as you can see, but he's on to get Rodriguez. Now the question is, will Rodriguez bat? For Smoltz, let's finish the story on him. John Smoltz went 7 2/3 innings in today's game. He allowed 6 hits. He walked 1 batter. He struck out 6 and allowed 1 run. It was unearned and no home runs. Henry Rodriguez is due at the plate. Alejandro Pena is still throwing in the Braves bullpen. But Glenn Allen Hill is going to pinch hit for Henry Rodriguez. Hill was acquired during the 1998 season by the Cubs to be Henry Rodriguez's platoon partner, and he did it very, very well for an average of .310, an on-base percentage of .360, and he slugged a very impressive .538. So Glenn Allen Hill can definitely put the Cubs in front. Kent Merker has his hands full. Gary Gaetti is in the on-deck circle. Sammy Sosa is on first base. The pitch to Glenn Allen Hill. And Merker blew it by him for strike 3, swinging. And that will do it for the Cubs in the 8th. Hill will go to left field for the 9th and play left. So after 8, it's the 92 Braves 2, the 98 Cubs 1. For the Braves in the 9th inning, Terry Mulholland is coming back out to face them. For the Braves in the 9th inning, it'll be Gant, Bream, and Olson. Rod Beck is warming in the Cubs bullpen. He is their closer in case Mulholland runs into trouble of some kind. But Terry gets Gant swinging for out number 1 in the 9th. Sid Bream stands in now against Mulholland. Tempting for Bobby Cox to go to Brian Hunter. And he's going to. Bream's going to be lifted for a pinch hitter. Braves had a platoon combination going at first base in 1992. Sid Bream against righties. Brian Hunter against lefties, and it's Hunter who's going to get the call now to face the left-handed Mulholland. All right, Hunter stands in the right-handed batter's box against Mulholland. The pitch is skied to left. Glenn Allen Hill back a few steps, and he will take it. That is out number 2 for the Braves in the 9th. And Greg Olson, who's done the catching all the way today against Mulholland. Lines a base hit. This one goes right up the middle. And Olson is on with a single with 2 outs. Mark Lemke Mark Lemke stands in the right-handed batter's box against Mulholland. Lemke's 1 for 3 with a run scored and a strikeout today. And Lemke draws a walk. There's 2 on, 2 outs, and Merker's due. He will not bat. And so who we got here? Mulholland is a lefty, so the Braves go with Lonnie Smith to do the pinch hitting. Lonnie Smith will bat for Merker. And with 2 on and 2 outs, Jeff Reardon is warming up in the Braves bullpen. Mulholland in a jam here. He definitely wants to hold the Braves to no runs in this inning if he can. Lonnie Smith was a good hitter in 1992. And this one's grounded to third. Gaetti gloves it, moving to his right, throws to Grace, and that retires the Braves. So they threaten but do not score in the 9th. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Brian Hunter will be the Braves' new first baseman. And Jeff Reardon, the Terminator, will be the Braves' closer. He is a B pitcher on the road. He is, of course, a right-hander and definitely one of the best closers in baseball history, and was acquired late in the year to do just that for the Braves. So Reardon's on. He is a B on the road. He will face Gaetti, Hernandez, and Service, unless there are pinch hitters. And looking at the Braves, are they going to make any defensive changes? No, they're not. They're going to go with who they got. So it's Reardon to pitch the 9th. Merker's line, 1 batter faced, 1/3 of an inning, 1 strikeout. All right, so Gaetti, Braves lead 2-1. 98 Cubs need a run or it's all over. Pitch to Gaetti. Fly ball to right. Justice is going back. He's going back, but he's got it, and that's out number 1 for Chicago in the 9th. Reardon, in 92, did not have his great fastball that he had at one time, but he had a lot of guile and a lot of guts. Jose Hernandez in to face him. He strikes out on a Reardon breaking ball, and that's 2 down. Service is due. He will not bat. Scott's cute, but not with 2 outs, and you need a run. See what they got here. They're going to Tyler. Riggleman's going to go. Oh, boy. They're going to go with Orlando Merced. Orlando Merced is going to bat for Scott Service. Merced is a switch hitter, but basically a left-handed pinch hitter by this point in his career. In 1998, he had .278 with a .336 on-base average. Tyler Houston has moved to the on-deck circle to bat for Terry Mulholland if Merced can continue things here. The pitch to Merced is a ground ball to Hunter. He gloves it, and he's going to flip to Reardon, and that will end this ball game. Reardon pitches a 1-2-3 9th inning, earns himself the save. The winning pitcher is John Smoltz. The losing pitcher is Kerry Wood. The save goes to Reardon. Star of the game, I guess, would be Smoltz with his performance over 7 2/3 innings, although Jeff Blauser had a 3-for-4 day with a ribby and a double, and Dave Justice hit himself a homer. So those guys had good games as well. In these team sets, these decade sets that we set up for Pine Tar Baseball, you get a lot of tense games like this one, close ones down to the wire, and that's what makes them so much fun. You also get, of course, the opportunity to do a lot of what-if types of matchups, and this one is definitely a fun one. So, I just wanted to give you a preview today of the 1990s set. The 92 Braves take this one. The 92 Braves defeat the 98 Cubs 2-1. John Smoltz over Kerry Wood, with Jeff Reardon getting the save. Please click like and subscribe to my channel. If you're liking what you see on Pine Tar Baseball and want to know more, you can ask me some questions in the comments section, or you can just go to ttlbaseballgame.com and order yourself some cards. This set is available right now for you to pick up. Encourage you to do that. A lot of fun. I'll be back with more games soon. Have a good day. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks for watching. So long, everybody.